everybody was wondering if Borussia Dortmund would show their problems in Augsburg, but they didn't do. I mean, they won 3-0, and in a very convincing way, I must say. Or what would you say? I mean, they had the big advantage of being one player up after 40 minutes, but already then they were in full control of the game. It was 0-0 when Udokai was sent off, but it could have been easily 1 or 2-0 at that times. And afterwards, Borussia Dortmund only had a very brief period where they, after they were 1-0 up, where they were having a bit of problems with the physicality of this Augsburg team that came forward and created not big chances, but at least some problems for Borussia Dortmund. But Borussia Dortmund looked very mature and very much like a champion.
They did look like a champion. They played like champions. It could have been the proverbial banana skin game that they haven't won in 3 years at Augsburg, but they were in control. They got the breaks as well. That Udokai sending off, of course, made things a lot easier. Augsburg created 1 or 2 chances, but it seemed to be inevitable that Dortmund were going to score. And it didn't look, a bit of Fußballdeutsch here, verkrampft.
Okay.
Verkrampft means when you are too tight, when you are too nervous, and you're choking from nerves. And we never get that sense with Dortmund. As they have been playing in most of the second half of the season, 1 or 2 bad games where we questioned their mentality a little bit, but they played again with real fluidity. Sebastian Haller scored 2 goals, looked really good again. Julian Brandt had a fantastic game. Daniel Marlin, who won that red card by just being a little bit quicker, and he was fouled, and it was denying of a goal-scoring opportunity that saw the sending off of Urukai. And Dortmund, Dortmund are very, very close. Very, very close now. And now it's interesting because we saw both Terzic and Sebastian Kier saying, oh, hold on a moment, yes, we worked hard for this, but there's 1 more game. Let's focus. No days off. We'll train all week. But at home, Christoph, against a Mainz team that have now lost 4 in a row and look like they've maybe checked out or they're already at the beach, it should really be, I don't want to say a formality, but it would be the mother of all surprises if they don't win it now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Borussia Dortmund, yes, I think they Borussia Dortmund will win it by 3, 4, 5 goals on a Saturday. I think they will roll over Mainz because this. I think you can't overestimate how important this win at Augsburg is, because it's tough to play in Augsburg. It's a difficult team to beat, especially for the top teams. Leverkusen lost their, Bayern lost their, RB Leipzig played 3-3, and so on. So it's really tough to win there. And this win was another proof of their fantastic, Borussia Dortmund's fantastic turnaround of the season after this long World Cup winter break. Because when you look at the numbers before, in the first half of the season, Borussia scored 31 goals, and in the second half 50. That is 19 more, and we still have 1 game to play. And it's so interesting. Sebastian Haller, who scored 2 goals in Augsburg, and probably is a story of the season, coming back from cancer and now having scored 9 goals for Borussia. Karim Adeyemi had scored 6, and Daniel Mahn has scored 9, and all these players have all scored all goals in the second half of the season. So it's like as if they came on with a complete new set of players to the second half of the season. And also Edin Terzic managed to stabilize the defense in the first part of the season. They got 25 goals against them. Now it's 17. And for me, the key player here is, maybe I'm a bit biased because I know him and I know what a fantastic guy is a Norwegian Julian Riasson as a left back, who is probably limited in his footballing ability, but he has a heart that is big as the Westfalenstadion. So and I think he was instrumental in giving this Dortmund team an extra that it was probably lacking. But all around, I think maybe we praise him a bit more if they really make the title. But I think Edin Terzic has done a tremendous job, and also with a difficult team, and a team that showed some difficulties similar to what we had been talking about at Bayern. But in the second half of the season, they only lost 1 game in Munich, 4-2. And they had only 3 draws. This controversial 1-1 draw in Bochum, but they should have got a penalty. Very unlucky, another draw in the Revier Derby at Schalke, where they were clearly the better team. And then this crazy 3-3 at Stuttgart, where they blew a lead with 1 player up. So, but yeah, still probably one of the best turnarounds in the history of the Bundesliga when you compare the first half of the season and the second half of the season in the championship race.
Yes, and we will come back with a conclusion of said Champions League race, which might be more dramatic, as Christoph said. He expects a big win for Mainz, but let's see. Thomas Müller still believes, he said. Taking a lead maybe in Köln might put pressure on Dortmund. I'm not sure how convinced I am in that theory, but you know, we've seen strange things happen in football, especially in the Bundesliga.